Do you ever feel like your thoughts just get all bottled up inside and start to fester, rotting, the pressure ever increasing? You need something to pop the zit of your mental world. If you do, then I can relate. And I want to recommend forms of mindfulness, but not necessarily meditation. I mean, yes, if you can find a way to sit where you're supporting your own weight, but also fairly relaxed, where at least for the first 5 minutes, you're not in any discomfort at all, and just kind of sit there for an hour at a time, or even just 10 minutes, and strike a balance between letting your thoughts wander and remembering that they're just your thoughts, then yes, maybe do that. But don't think it's any different or any better than praying, than practicing grace, or even just living an engaged life. People who make art, people who write books, I think they often don't confuse themselves with their thoughts because they're getting to do useful things with them. I am both these thoughts that I'm sharing with you and something greater than that. I read about this climber, I think it was in Outliers by Gladwell, apparently weaving in and out of the rock as he climbed. I don't know if he was mentioned. Wasn't his name like, what was his name? Was it John Gill? Was it even close to that? Am I confusing him for a computer guy? Did he make a cameo in Free Solo? Did he even show up in that Alex Honnold movie that just came out? Because I just saw it and I couldn't help but think of that guy and the weaving in and out of the rock and the becoming one. I almost feel like that's the one thing missing from Alex and his practice. I saw it. It was getting ready to blow over, but I didn't catch it in time. Like I'm sure so many of you who saw that movie, when it cut to her at the very end after he said, "Yeah, I'm going to do it again." And we all went, "Oh, honey." You need to stop pretending like you know how to give your life to a woman. Yeah, that guy needs to meditate or something. Anyway, not that I don't fully appreciate him. Just not a totally blind fanboy. Okay, so Buddhism, Christianity, all the other isms, Marie Kondo and her animism. She thinks stuff is alive. Silly girl. I guess I just wanted to offer that, like, if you want to have a mindfulness practice where you really explicitly try and like afford yourself time where you get to let your thoughts roam free and maybe like me, you don't know how much to rein them in. How much is it about forbidding thought, you know, and how much is it providing fully free space for thought? Like, is it a practice where like should I occasionally like stop and write them down because they get so good, or they feel like they get so good, almost like a drug? Or is it more about, is it truly okay to fully trust in the like total clearing or allowing to clear of thoughts, maybe focus on the body, the sensations. That's the Vipassana method, but I'm about to get into the whole stupidity of the methodology, the dogmas. But yeah, could I with enough faith, like, let there really be a nothingness and a clarity, and would that actually increase the crispness or clarity, my ability to think in real time when I'm not meditating and I'm actually, God forbid, thinking while I'm doing and being mindful as I act, do my job or drive my car, or, all the things we spend all our time doing, unfortunately. Or is it okay to let my mind wander? So I'm really curious your thoughts on that. And then also, or if you're like struggling with that with me, and then also I just want to know how you feel about this whole idea of like, everyone who thinks they're doing it right is doing it wrong. And it's a bit of a paradox, because you've got to like give people some certainty and some rules and some dogmas. But at the same time, it's like, as soon as you add those, man, it just kills it. It's like, to me, the big similarity between Buddhism and Christianity is that, like, they both have a lot of really beautiful things. And this kernel, these core things too, that are like really similar in my opinion. And the problems are really similar too. Like, I want you to do something for me. I want you to pick up The Story of B by Daniel Quinn and read the sections on, there's an essay I think at the back, or just check out his essay online. It's at ishmael.org, and just search any of these terms, like ishmael.org, Daniel Quinn, and our religions, are they the religions of humanity itself? And you can even see how similar these Eastern and Western religions are, and maybe some of the like problems that they share in that similarity. But that's like for another time, if that's if you want to dive into the deep end or whatever. But like, so never minding the salvationist character and the axiomatic assumption that like humans are in need of saving, and like that we're not a sacred part of like a sacred existence, and the degree to which these religions actually, so I said I wouldn't, but I'm doing it a little, the degree to which these religions actually counteract their own very teachings by basically saying, you're separate from God, you're not Jesus, you don't get to have Christ-likeness because you're a sinner, you're of this earth, but don't be of this earth, you're in need of saving, you need to reincarnate, your soul isn't good enough yet, you need to work on becoming as sacred as a tree or a dog or the earth, and then you're gonna like what, leave off into the spirit realm or evolve into the next layer of being, or like why would the human organism need to go through layers and layers of reincarnation to finally progress to the point where we're as good as a tree or a rock? I just don't think that makes any sense. But like, so is it possible to actually skip all of the dogmas and just get the juicy core of grace and mindfulness and walking with God and walking in God's hand and having some Christ-likeness and being as good at being as the rock or the tree? You rock. I Heart Huckabee's reference. It's like, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's my question for you. Is it possible to treat meditation the way that psychotherapy should be done, the way that so many things should be done, where you are trying to work your way out of the business. A good therapist is not trying to make you need them forever, right? Like a really, really good therapist should have a goal of having like no more than 10 sessions with their clients, because like that's about the time in which you like pretty much spend the first 5 really listening, only asking questions, being really curious and probing, and then spend the next 5 mostly talking and giving feedback and bringing to bear the entirety of that person's career and personal wisdom focused exactly on that client. And I don't see how there's much more that there could be than that, other than a bunch of this, because I can tell you, as a person who has occasionally had brilliant insights into people's lives who've asked him about, you know, this or that problem, and then been told, because I don't seem like it, holy shit, Jesus, I can't believe the way you reframed all that for me. It doesn't take long, and if it takes you longer than that, I think you're stalling. So can there be a meditative practice that's exactly like that, instead of the opposite, the way, you know, religions do? It's like suck you in, get you to need more and more, never give you the juice, never be effective, always tease you with the effectiveness, but never fully give it to you, because then you wouldn't need them anymore, right? That's my question. Is there a way to practice grace, Christ-likeness, and or mindfulness in such a way so as that, maybe paradoxically-ish sounding at least, as we get deeper and deeper into it and do it more and more automatically, for precisely that reason, we need the formal, dogmatic, religious practice less and less, and especially the authoritarianism and the need to preach and evangelize. Less and less do we need to convince others while we secretly try and convince ourselves, to prove to ourselves by explaining and evangelizing and proselytizing to others that we really believe this thing that we are obviously not very good at yet, and may never be if we keep going down that desperate, needy road, which is so the opposite of the point of the practice, creating more security and completeness unto oneself, right?